What would you do if you saw a mummy randomly pop out of nowhere while you were working? Well, the two men that discovered this mummy ran for the hills. On May 12, 1897, two workers were dredging peat in a bog near the Dutch village of Yde when all of a sudden they saw something rise to the surface. The sight sent shivers down the men's spine as they believed that they saw the devil. But really it was the Yde Girl, a 2,000-year-old corpse. Frightened, the men put down their tools and ran away, but a couple hours later came back to conceal the mummy with peat. Just 9 days later, on May 21st, the village mayor stumbled upon the mummy. In addition to her main body, he discovered a severed foot, hand, and partial pelvis in the surrounding area. He collected the remains and took them to the Drents Museum for officials to investigate. The mummy had bright red hair, but only on one side. She also had no teeth. The rope was tied tightly 3 times around her neck, and there was a stab wound near her collarbone. Due to the limited technology of the time, investigators couldn't find out much more about the individual. Her identity would remain a mystery until 100 years later when Manchester University professor Richard Neve took CT scans of the mummy's skull. It was found that the mummy was a 16-year-old female, her age determined by a lack of wisdom teeth. Radiocarbon dating revealed she died between 54 BC and 128 BC. She stood at 4.5 feet tall and suffered from a severe case of scoliosis as indicated by the curvature of her spine. She had an abnormally swollen right foot, suggesting a limp. Pictured is the 1994 facial reconstruction of the Yde Girl. This photo stunned the world and made her one of the most famous bog bodies in history. As far as her cause of death goes, there are 2 theories. She was either executed or sacrificed. According to Dr. Roy Van Beek, quote, bog bodies were maybe people who were convicted criminals or found guilty of adultery. But the more widely spread explanation is that it is about dedicating sacrifices to a higher power, quote. Although we will never be entirely certain as to how the Yde Girl perished, it was likely she was a target for a child sacrifice in hopes of agricultural prosperity.